Dr. Joachim von Braun, Director General of the International Food Policy Research Institute. He will speak on food security under stress. Dr. Braun.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, honorable colleagues on the podium, dear Dr. Braithwaite, I especially salute you and your team for a fine job being done at IICA, and I congratulate OAS and IICA to hold this very timely conference. Food security under stress. Whose stress are we talking about? Food security stress at the household level means misery, undermining health, early death. Food security stress at the government level means political destabilization, but it can also mean a call to action. That's a positive aspect of stress. We all know when we are stressed we can either give up or work harder. Fortunately, the world policy-making community has chosen a pathway for working harder and better to address the stress of food security. I will talk about two issues: poverty, food insecurity, the new complex risks. I underline risks that are now emerging. What are they? What's driving them? How can we address them? And then come to an agenda for research, investment and action. I underline action. Norman Borlaug, for whom we stood up, and I very much appreciate that, Charles, that we did that, used to close his speeches in recent years with three words: action, action, action. I cannot intone the vigor and impetus of Norman Borlaug, but many of you must have heard him cry for action, and that's more important even today than ever before. The household stress is manifested in this graph: increased deviation of the actual numbers, the absolute numbers of food insecure people from the World Food Summit objectives, target line. Hunger is serious in parts of the Latin America and Caribbean region, as indicated by the Global Hunger Index, which IFPRI, the International Food Policy Research Institute, produces annually. But compared to the rest of the world and the hotspots of hunger in Africa and South Asia, the region suffers substantially less. That, however, must not lead us to belittle where it is a particularly serious problem in Central America, parts of the Caribbean and the Andean regions. Poverty, sorry, that was your one slide behind. Thank you. Poverty, here defined as below $2 a day per person in the region, shows great diversity at the subnational level. Looking at averages country by country is not good enough. Within countries, the rural-urban divide even is also not good enough. Here you find new work from our institute on subnational district level pixeled into these maps. The prevalence of poverty and the absolute numbers in the region remain significant, but again, there's a sign of progress and hope compared to where the most problems are in Africa and Asia. If we look at one of the major structural manifestations of economic problems, in the region, we have to look at inequality, which breeds all sorts of ill consequences. By the way, we will make these very difficult to read PowerPoints available to you on the website and at IFPRI. I assure you this is the worst slide which I have in that respect. But those in the front rows may like to look at the blue developments, and those in the back rows may trust what I say. The inequality indicators of Brazil are showing a downward trend, a slight downward trend. Good news. The inequality in Mexico also seems to be at least no longer increasing, going down. And if we look at Venezuela, similar trend, but there are exceptions or different trends. For instance, in Peru, inequality in recent years has still increased. But the fundamental problem of large degrees of inequalities still persists, and that has big implications for the impact of the food crisis, the economic crisis, and the outcome of that at the tail end of the income distribution. The food price crisis, with the much debated spike, the increase and decrease of international prices, has been paralleled in an unusual way by a development of food riots month by month following the price developments. Once prices had doubled, there seems to be a tipping point. That's the red line in this graph, the food price spike paralleled by the food riot spike. That is worldwide figures, and the region of Latin America and Caribbean has not been free from these political developments. And it's probably the red line, the riot spike, which has mobilized the political forces in unusual ways, now in good ways, and it is not the economic development of the price per se which has mobilized the political forces.